I met her walking around my apartment complex. She was with some mutual friends, and I thought she was very attractive, and I talked to her. We exchanged numbers. We had sexual contact later on that night.
Same night you saw her walking around the parking lot?
Yes, ma'am.
So was this sex protected?
No, ma'am, it wasn't.
He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it.
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it.
She told you before that when you was sitting in the car with your friend, when y'all left from the Riverwalk.
No, that's not true, and you got her pregnant.
Yes, it is. It's true, Your Honor.
This case was already a disaster before it even started. Jeremy Boston swears he isn't the dad, but Teresa Murphy is tired of his nonsense and wants a DNA test. The judge catches Jeremy in a lie within seconds, and things go downhill fast.
Mr. Boston, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say you have undeniable proof that there is no way possible that you are the biological father of the defendant's 10-month-old son, Tristan.
Jeremy tries to convince everyone they were never in a relationship, but Teresa isn't buying it. He claims he slept on the floor while she says he was in her bed every night. The more Jeremy talks, the worse his story gets.
So how long were you in this sexual relationship?
4 months.
I wasn't even at her house for 4 months.
He's lying.
Big over there every other night.
Like, he was at my house every night, spending the night sleeping in the same bed.
Alone, kicking it with them. You know, having beverages, stayed over time, and my mom was asleep, so I couldn't get in her house. So yes, I did spend a night over there.
It was an everyday thing.
I slept on her float in her living room.
No, lying. You slept in my bed.
Jeremy acts like he found out about the baby from a news report. Teresa says he was happy and rubbing her belly, but Jeremy says he barely knew her name. The judge gives him the side eye of the century when he admits to calling her Bookie the whole time.
He started coming over my house, spending the night. We had sexual encounters plenty of times on several occasions in my bedroom. When I first found out I was pregnant, he was happy. He came over to my house. He's like, oh, he rubbed my belly and everything. He was smiling and everything.
She was pregnant. That family member came in the house and told me, well, you know somebody named Teresa? At the time, I didn't know her government name. Only thing I knew was
He's
proof.
lying.
Jeremy swears he wasn't around when the baby was conceived. Teresa says that's a lie, and that he even came to visit the baby after birth. Jeremy admits he held the baby, but only to check for clues.
After I had the baby, Your Honor, he came to Chicago to see my baby. I moved back to Chicago with my mom. Actually, I have proof. He came to Chicago to see my son. He asked me to take a picture of him and his son and put it on Facebook, and that's what I did. Tristan and Mr. Boston.
Mr. Boston and Tristan.
Yeah.
Just when it couldn't get wilder, another man enters the mix. Turns out Teresa was also with Tyron Gregory, who straight up blocked her on Facebook when she told him she was pregnant. The audience gasps, but let's be real. This is normal for paternity court.
She texted me on Facebook and told me she was pregnant. I never talked to her again. Like, I blocked her, so basically never.
You got a message on Facebook that she was potentially pregnant by you and you deleted her?
Blocked it.
He actually blocked me, Your Honor, because he had went back home to his girlfriend and he thought that I was gonna break up a happy home, which it wasn't nothing like that because I don't wanna break up no happy home. This is about my son.
Teresa's best friend, Quiana, jumps in to expose more lies. She says Jeremy was at Teresa's house all the time and was not sleeping on the floor. Jeremy tries to act surprised, but the judge looks like she's heard enough.
I was living with Teresa the whole time.
And he was sleeping on the floor.
He was sleeping in my bed.
Was Mr. Boston the only man coming over there within that 4-month period?
When she was saying him, he was the only man. They broke up. They weren't talking for like 2 weeks. That's when she started messing with Mr. Gregory.
Teresa put Jeremy on child support, even though she wasn't sure he was the father. The judge is not happy and warns her that this could cause big problems. Teresa basically shrugs and admits she did it out of pettiness.
I put Mr. Boston on child support.
You did what?
I have proof.
Why would you arbitrarily choose Mr. Boston and put him on child support?
At the time when I conceived, I didn't talk to neither one of them, but I had Mr. Boston information as far as his birthday, his social security number, and everything.
Mr. Boston, you are not the father.
Buckle up, this drama is next level. Ms. Nesbitt sues Mr. Henderson for paternity, claiming he only buys diapers for their baby, Zian. He denies being the father, saying she was with the neighbor.
Ms. Nesbitt, you are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he is the father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zian. You say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up. Mr. Henderson, you claim your case is simple. You say Ms. Nesbitt cheated on you with her neighbor during the window of conception, and he is Zian's biological father.
Things get weirder. Ms. Nesbitt says Mr. Henderson treats her other kid better than his own. He admits he doesn't want to care for another man's child, but he already is. Make it make sense.
Well, he buy her diapers, that's about it. He doesn't do anything for my child, but buy her diapers. He does more for my 2-year-old son that he knows that's not his, than his own daughter.
Because I feel that I shouldn't have to take care of another man's baby. I came into this baby's life and already knew he wasn't mine, but I had a possibility that she'd been mine, but she's not, so I felt kind of hurt.
Plot twist. Mr. Henderson secretly signed the birth certificate, then lied about a DNA test. Judge Lake calls him out. But wait, the real cheating scandal is about to drop.
So, Mr. Henderson, you did sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nesbitt that said, don't sign it just yet because it may not be yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he even lied to his father and told him that he got a DNA at the hospital when he didn't.
Well, honestly, Your Honor, because I didn't want him all in my business.
Oh, Your Honor, that's a lie. He signed the birth certificate. He told me that he signed the birth certificate so he can have rights of the baby, so he can get custody of the baby.
Ms. Nesbitt admits she told Mr. Henderson the baby might not be his, out of anger. Yeah, that helps nothing. The tension is thick, but it's about to get worse.
She kept coming to me like, this not your baby, LaDon. Like one time
After Zion was born?
Yes, I came in the house one night drunk. I don't know if she was mad at me or not. She probably could have said it out of spite because I came in late.
True.
She get the argument, oh, she's not yours. That's why she's not your baby. She could be Mr.
Ms.
Brown's
Nesbitt,
baby.
did you say that?
Yes, Your Honor, I did it out of angry. I was really angry
She
when
said
I
it
said
several times, Your Honor.
Boom! She reveals Mr. Henderson slept with his own cousin. No wonder she had doubts. Judge Lake's reaction? Priceless. And trust me, it's about to get wilder.
He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it.
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it.
She told you before that when you was sitting in the car with your friend, when y'all left from the Riverwalk.
No, that's not true, and you got her pregnant.
Yes, it is. It's true, Your Honor.
Enter Mr. Brown, the neighbor. Ms. Nesbitt hooked up with him right after a fight. 2 weeks later, she was pregnant. The courtroom loses it, and Mr. Brown, he has his own version of events.
Well, I doubted because we was having unprotected sex for a year straight, and all of a sudden I had sex one time with Mr. Brown, and I ended up getting pregnant 2 weeks later.
Mr. Brown is
the neighbor.
Your neighbor?
Yes. Well, me and Mr. Henderson, we got into an argument, and it led in my apartment to him coming in, giving me a massage, and led off to me.
Mr. Brown admits he flirted with Ms. Nesbitt, and they hooked up on her birthday. He plays it down, but it's a mess. Then, his story takes a weird turn.
I first met her, she had moved to my apartment, been a couple doors down. I used to always flirt with her, to blink an eye at her, you know what I'm saying? Because she was a cute girl, you know?
It was just like birthday sex, that was about it.
It wasn't more that she used to always hit me up and text me and all that stuff. I used to text her different names, like
it was
this
just
Tracy,
one time.
Nancy.
Your Honor, she's telling me that it's been going on longer than that. It was more than one.
It was just birthday sex.
Mr. Brown shows a picture, claiming the baby looks nothing like him. He even compares features like a detective. But the drama isn't over yet. These men have been beefing on Facebook.
This is a picture of
me on the right and her on the left, yeah. She looked nothing like me at all. Ear, look at her cheeks, nothing, lips, nose, nothing like me. One day she had told me she didn't want to take them. First she used to always ask me, like, do you mind taking the test? I'm like, yeah. Then one day she,
no, you,
I guess she didn't want to hurt
Your
his
Honor,
feelings
he's
or
the
something.
one that called me.
So wait, she asked you to take a test. Do you mind taking
yeah,
a paternity
and I used to always tell her what I tell her.
Yes, they fought about this baby on Facebook. Mr. Henderson tagged Mr. Brown, saying, come get your daughter. Mr. Brown blocked him twice, and somehow it gets pettier.
Him hit me up on Facebook. See, I had to block him on Facebook.
I don't
know, bro. I'm a real man, bro.
You having a Facebook feud?
Oh, it wasn't no Facebook feud. I just told him, like, bro, come get your child. You feel me? This is not my child. She's telling me that this child is not mine. I'm not about to sit there. I'm a real man. I'm not gonna have her calling me daddy or nothing. Like, hold on, I'm not your father.
I just don't want my daughter to be
father.
fatherless, and I just want to find out today.
Ms. Nesbitt accuses Mr. Henderson of treating her other kid better than his own child. Henderson claps back, saying, that's different, because I got feelings. Judge Lake is trying so hard not to roll her eyes, but the biggest moment is coming, and it's time for the truth to finally come out.
She told me several times that it wasn't my baby,
He takes care of my baby that he know that's not his, which is my son. He takes care of him.
Yes, but you didn't cheat on me and have him, though.
He only bought his daughter only one.
I got feelings, too.
What he's saying is there's a level of resentment that he feels as it relates to baby Zion. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not her father.
Oh!
Okay, sit down, Mr. Brown.
Right away, things go from normal to what in the world is happening real fast. Ms. Ferguson brings her mom to court because she just found out the dad who raised her might not be her real dad. And just like that, we're off to the races with secrets, drama, and a whole lot of awkwardness.
You've brought your mother to court today because you were recently shocked to learn that Ken Ferguson, who raised you your entire life, may not be your biological father. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test on Mr. Ferguson, whom we'll hear from in a moment. You acknowledge that you finally confessed to your daughter that you slept with more than one man at the time of her conception.
If you thought this was going to be a calm chat, think again. This is a full-on family roast session. Ms. Ferguson calls out her mom for ignoring her kids and sneaking around with other men, while her mom acts like she has no clue what's happening. It's like watching someone pretend they didn't eat the last cookie while crumbs are all over their face.
My mom goes through crazy moments and acts like her family never is there for her. The only ones that just want her attention and to talk to her and be there for her. So she was treating us like crap. For her, she wouldn't talk to us. She would only talk to her guy friends and her other friends. Not even the husband, there for her to just lean on when she actually didn't have anyone else around her.
And just like that, mom storms out because she can't handle the heat. Ms. Ferguson drops a truth bomb. Watching her mom cheat so much made her think cheating was normal. If you thought this was dramatic, just wait, because Ken is about to spill some tea too.
See, this is what you do. You always walk away. You never can talk to me.
Your stepfather.
Yeah.
And you finally just said to him.
Yes, I let it all out. Everything I was keeping secrets from him. Yes, I was supposed to be her little secret keeper. Supposed to be the only one to know that she was sleeping around. And I couldn't handle it anymore because I love him like I love him.
Ken steps up and says, "Oh yeah, I had doubts." And boy, does he have a reason. Turns out Ms. Munsell was with 4 dudes in one night before they even got together. Ken still married her and raised Ms. Ferguson, but now he's back in court, reliving the mess all over again.
Miss Ferguson, this young woman was your daughter.
Yeah, I believe she was my daughter.
Why do you have the doubt?
When I first met her at a party, I found out after this, because that's when we met. She slept with 4 guys that night.
You know this for a fact or you heard?
No, it's fact. Then we were dating, moved in with each other. Within like 2 weeks, my sister started calling me saying, hey, there's down at the house.
Ms. Ferguson, trying to be the bigger person, asks her mom to just say sorry. Instead, her mom gives the worst apology ever. Something like, I did my best, but without any real feeling. Ms. Ferguson is not buying it, and honestly, neither is anyone watching.
I just wish one day she'll just sit down and admit to my face what she did was wrong and I shouldn't have seen it and I shouldn't have this feeling.
Are you willing to give your mother a chance to apologize today? Here today, she appeared to be extremely emotional.
It's because she's never admitted.
And now, the moment of truth.
When it comes to Alicia Ferguson, Mr. Ferguson, you are her father.
This was totally wild. Imagine thinking you know your dad, and then boom, surprise. Ms. Fuller's mom told her the man on her birth certificate wasn't her real father. Instead, she said her dad might be a famous musician, and now Ms. Fuller needs answers.
Miss Fuller, you say that on your mother's deathbed, she confessed your dad was not the man listed on your birth certificate. You claim she then told you that your biological father was actually a well-known singer who was also the love of her life. Now, while you have doubts whether he is actually your biological father, you confess he's your last hope.
This childhood drama is next level. At 10 years old, her dad told her he wasn't actually her dad. Then, on her 13th birthday, her mom confirmed it but gave no real answers. She spent her whole life wondering where she came from, and now she's finally ready to find out.
At the age of 10, my mother and father that I've known to be my father had a fight, and on his way out, he told me, and by the way, I'm not your father, but I know he's not, and he's told me, he said, I'm not your father. Something that was just really devastating to me in my life, and at the age of 13, on my 13th birthday, my mother told me that he wasn't my real father, and that my father was dead, actually.
This part was straight up crazy. Her mom's final words included the name Cornelius, and Ms. Fuller had no idea who that was. She searched online, found a record in her mom's things, and saw it was written by a saxophone player. Even weirder, the song was named after her mom.
So my mom, on her deathbed, she died about a year ago, less than a year. She told me that really my father is possibly Cornelius, and I said, Cornelius? I didn't know who that was, and she said, that's who I think your father is. So I went online, after she passed, I went online to find out who he is, that he was a saxophone player, he was a musician.
This moment was intense. After tracking him down on Facebook, Ms. Fuller finally meets Cornelius in person. First thing she asks, can I hug you? They hug, the audience claps, and now it's time to find out if he remembers Lorraine.
I was able to find him on Facebook, and I befriended him. And I asked, we talked, a little here and there. And
but you've never met him face to face?
This dude is just like, oh yeah, I knew Lorraine. He says they met at a nightclub and fell in love, but their relationship was complicated. Then one day, she disappeared.
Do you remember her mother, Lorraine?
Yes, I was singing in a band at the time. That's where I met her at. When she came down to the club, I would take her home. She lived in the other part of town. I stayed in the ghetto, and she was white.
This was unexpected. Years later, Cornelius tracked Lorraine down, knocked on her door, and they reconnected. And by reconnected, I mean they got real close with no protection. Now Ms. Fuller is wondering if that night led to her birth.
That she was in San Bernardino. So me and my brother to the place I thought she was at, and I knocked on the door, and she came to the door.
Was she single or was she married?
Well, she was married.
Was her husband home?
No.
So what happened?
We just fell in love again.
Fell in love again.
Yeah.
This could have been awkward, but nope. Cornelius's wife Melinda is all in and already considers Ms. Fuller family. She gets emotional and says she loves her no matter what. The DNA results haven't even come in yet, but she's already attached.
I already got attached to Miss Fuller already. Yeah. I would like it to turn out for them, father and daughter.
Yes.
This part was heartbreaking. Ms. Fuller explains how she's always felt lost and unwanted. She never questioned her mom because she just wanted to be a good girl. But now, standing here in court, she realizes just how badly she needs the truth.
I didn't know where I fit in. I just knew I was a good girl. I wanted to just please my mom, to please everybody around me. Never questioned anything. I never wanted to be in a place of a lonely state. I feel lonely now.
All right, here it is, the moment of truth.
Mr. Neal, you are not Miss Fuller's father.
Oh.
This case is already a mess, and we haven't even started. Judge Lake introduces Sousis versus Payne, where Ms. Sousis says Mr. Payne's mom made him doubt their baby girl. She wants his name on the birth certificate, but he's not signing anything without proof.
Ms. Sousis, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say it's his mother's fault he's denying your 10-month-old daughter, Aleliana. You claim when the DNA results prove he is the father, you want the defendant's name added to her birth certificate.
The trust issues here are next level. Mr. Payne says Ms. Sousis is sneaky because she went to the movies with another guy and texted her ex. She fires back, saying he did the same thing. So what's the problem?
The first day after we started talking, she went to the movies with some other guy, Facebook messages telling her
did something with another girl and you was just telling your ex you loved her, so what's the difference?
You lying in court.
I don't need to lie.
Ms. Sousis, you did contact your ex?
Yeah, I said I cared for him. I never said I loved him. He told his ex he loved her, and I did go to the movies with a boy.
For 9 hours. What movie is 9 hours?
Mr. Payne was happy at first, then switched up real fast. He says the pregnancy happened too fast after they got back together, making him suspicious. His mom agrees and says, something ain't right here.
What happened when you told him you were pregnant?
He was happy for a minute. I don't know. I guess there we go with the DNA test stuff, so.
I was happy and shocked at the same time because I felt like it happened fast because we had just got back together.
After you got back together,
2 weeks.
It seemed like right away because the first time she was pregnant twice. The first time she got pregnant, I knew without a doubt it was his because she didn't go anywhere. I couldn't get rid of her.
Ms. Sousis is fed up with raising her daughter alone. Mr. Payne claims she chose to do it by herself, but she says he was just never there. The judge can barely get a word in because they won't stop arguing.
I've been doing this for so long by myself. It's like, I'm just fed up.
She didn't have to be alone. She chose to. That was on her.
Who was there for me? Because I've been independent for so long, for so many years by myself. I was used to it, so it was like.
Did you want him to be there and help you?
Yes, I did.
I'm confused as to why you didn't allow him to help you.
We just argued too much around my daughter, and I don't want that all around her, so.
Ms. Sousis says Mr. Payne comes and goes like a lost puppy. He swears he tried to be there, but she made it difficult. Then they start fighting over a stroller color, and the judge looks so done.
And so for the past 10 months, you've been raising her on your own?
Not on my own. Like, yeah, he comes in and, like I said, he comes in and out. I don't like that. If you're gonna stay out, stay out. If you're gonna come in. Like, if she knows you're dad, stay in. Like,
if you need help and you want me to be there and you tell me no, what more can I do?
All right, but when I ask you
to help, how's it a problem? When you just ask,
it's a problem.
What did I do?
Right?
When you just asked, what did I do?
The gossip in this case is wild. Mr. Payne says random people told his mom that Ms. Sousis was moving around too much. She claps back, saying people love to talk, but it's all lies.
There was another situation, I think I told you too, Lacey. A lady, her daughter goes to school pretty much with Lacey, and she was saying, oh, she talks to this guy and this girl and this guy. Like, just everybody. No one
Everybody
has
gonna say anything they
right,
want.
but no one has anything good to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know how that goes, but you understand that's my doubt.
It's always something bad at me. I'm a hoe. I'm this. I'm that. But does anybody really know me? But when I confront people, nobody got nothing to say.
Ms. Seuss is mad that Mr. Payne didn't sign the birth certificate. He says he had doubts, and his mom told him to wait. She thinks that was just an excuse to avoid responsibility.
You say that he's not on Aleliana's birth certificate.
Yes, that's another reason why I didn't let him take her as much.
Don't sign it if you have any doubts. Get the DNA test first.
It's sad that it took 10 months
It's sad, yes.
for it
sad.
to happen, but at least it can happen today. And if it is my child, I'm gonna step up all the way.
Good.
All the way.
100%. You don't gotta say good, because I know what I'm gonna do.
The tension in the room is crazy. Judge Lake reads the results, and boom.
It has been determined by Mr. Payne. You are the father.
Thank you.
I'm happy. Now I'm happy.
This courtroom started wild. Mr. Black walked in straight up saying, that ain't my kid. He wants the baby's last name changed if the DNA test proves he's not the father. Ms. Rockmore says he's the dad 100% and is disgusted by his denial.
You say you're here today to finally prove that you are not the biological father of 4-month-old Javion Black. You say when the results reveal you are not the father, you no longer want the child to have your last name. You say you are 100% sure Mr. Black is your son's biological father, and you are completely disgusted by his rejection of your innocent child.
These two met, talked for a few hours, and next thing you know, no protection, no hesitation. Mr. Black says she was cute, they exchanged numbers, and boom, same night hookup. Now they're in court, trying to figure out if that one night made a whole human.
I met her walking around my apartment complex. She was with some mutual friends, and I thought she was very attractive, and I talked to her. We exchanged numbers. We got to know each other a little better on that evening, and then we had sexual contact later on that night.
Same night you saw her walking
Yes,
around
ma'am.
the parking lot?
Yes, ma'am.
So was this sex protected?
No, ma'am, it wasn't.
Mr. Black swears the baby isn't his because he saw her ex take her to the store. Judge Lake looks at him like, sir, what? Turns out, buying groceries does not equal making babies.
I'm doubtful because at the time I was there and I was talking to her, that period of time, I seen her ex involved with her.
You saw her with her ex?
Yes, ma'am. He walked past me while I was at her house talking to her, and he went and took her to the store.
How'd you know it was her ex?
I knew it was her ex because she told me.
Ms. Rockmore told him she was pregnant, and his first reaction was, I don't believe you. She had to send a sonogram just to prove it was real. Instead of stepping up, he pulled out a homemade timeline like he was solving a crime.
The first person that I told was my mom, and that's because she went to the doctor with me. As soon as I left the doctor, I called Mr. Black to let him know that I was pregnant. And at the time, he didn't believe me until I showed him a sonogram picture. Then that's when he believed me.
I was doubtful. It was a month later. I got a calendar showing the time periods of where we had our intercourse in the time period. She showed me she was pregnant. She could have had sex with anybody from August to September.
He literally made a calendar to prove he couldn't be the dad. Like, that's how science works. Judge Lake counts the months and says, sir, these numbers add up perfectly. The audience loses it when he suggests she had another guy waiting right after him.
I'm trying to prove that he is not my child. It helps me in that way of showing you the time frame that we did have sex. She was on her period from the 21st to the 28th, and we had sex on the 30th one time. And she came to me on the 26th saying that she was pregnant. Between July and August and September 26th, she could have had sex with anybody.
Claiming that the
times
window
just
of
don't add up.
conception would have been between July 30th.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, plot twist, Mr. Black's own mother switches sides. She stands with Ms. Rockmore and says, that's my grandson. The audience loves it, and Mr. Black looks like he just got grounded on TV.
You're Ms. Black.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are?
I'm his mother.
You are Mr. Black, the plaintiff's mother.
Yes, ma'am. I'm his mom, and I am very disappointed and I'm outraged that he would go this far to bring this young lady to court to prove that's his son.
The moment of truth, Judge Lake opens the envelope. Boom.
It has been determined, Mr. Black, you are the father. Every time somebody testifies of something in this courtroom, the first thing out your mouth is she's a lie. Now I'm starting to believe you the lie. Now you're gonna have to come up with some testimony in here. That makes some sense.
This was some months later. When I got to my apartment, I unlocked the door with the key. But at that point, I heard my closet door slide open. I heard somebody drag the bed and went in the closet. I said, oh no. When I got inside, I went right to the closet, opened the door. She standing up there naked. My man in my house.
This case is a roller coaster from the start. The judge introduces Hendricks versus Hendricks, and apparently, this isn't their first courtroom drama. Last time, Mrs. Hendricks accused her husband of cheating, but a lie detector cleared him. Now, Mr. Hendricks thinks she's the unfaithful one and doubts their newborn is his. Buckle up, because this is far from a normal paternity case.
Ms. Hendricks, you and your husband previously appeared in court because you suspected he was being unfaithful.
She was naked on the bed, and Chris was in there.
Oh, I'm perfectly aware of what's at stake.
There's the girls and then the baby. I mean,
You're expecting?
yeah, I'm.
Oh
6
my.
months.
Mr. Hendricks was asked, had he had sex with his ex? What was his response?
His response was no.
Mr. Hendricks is convinced the baby isn't his. He doesn't feel a connection, says little Christopher doesn't resemble him, and wants a lie detector test. Mrs. Hendricks, furious, named the baby after him and his dad, yet he still doubts her. And just when you think it can't get worse, the real reason for his suspicion is revealed.
You say you confirmed your wife has been unfaithful and there is no way her child is yours. So you're also petitioning the court for a lie detector test to determine the extent of your wife's cheating.
I mean, I was very honest with him with what happened before, and he has taken it to the extent of denying our son. Named him after him, circumcised him, did everything.
Enter Facebook drama. Mrs. Hendricks found flirty messages from her husband's coworker, but instead of confronting him, she had her own revenge spree. Then life took a turn. She was diagnosed with cancer, which made everything emotional. Her response? Full YOLO mode, drinking, partying, and making questionable decisions. And this is just the beginning.
Last September, his Facebook messages were coming to my phone, and it was one of his coworkers. She was saying very sexual things to him. About 10 days later, I had found out that I had endometrial cancer, and I had gotten real sick. Whenever I was diagnosed with all of that, I just got very upset.
Things escalate. Mr. Hendricks accuses her of sneaky behavior, late nights, missing hours, and outright lying. A family member even calls her out, saying she admitted to cheating. Mrs. Hendricks denies everything except one drunk kiss. Just when it seems like the worst part, another twist drops.
We had everybody over at our house drinking. We had started working out our issues. I came into the room.
Ms. Hendricks and a family member.
And a family member.
Okay.
I was like, so what is it that you're supposed to tell me? And she says nothing. And she looks at this family member, says, I put it on such and such's grave that nothing happened. And the family member looked at her and said, you're a bull-faced liar. You came to my house that very next night and said you did it.
4 months later, Mrs. Hendricks gets an unexpected pregnancy reveal. Mr. Hendricks immediately suspects something fishy. They had been struggling to conceive before, so he questions how she got pregnant so easily now. She credits weight loss, but he isn't convinced. His doubts are about to get even deeper.
I found out I was pregnant 4 months later.
We went through extensive fertility medicine to have our 4-year-old daughter. Tried for 5 years. Unprotected sex. So 4 years after we have our first daughter, she winds up pregnant.
I don't find that fair whenever he's bringing up the treatments I went through, because I was 170 pounds more, and the doctor even told you if I'd lose weight, it'd be a lot easier for me to get pregnant.
But you didn't for 4 years.
Mr. Hendricks becomes a full-time detective. He insists the baby has no resemblance to him and even pays for a 4D ultrasound just to check. Mrs. Hendricks is exasperated, insisting the baby looks just like him. The judge watches, probably wondering why they're debating a fetus's face. Then, the case takes a medical turn.
I even went to the extent we went and paid for a 4D ultrasound just to see if there were any kind of characteristics that looked like me.
And he looks just like you.
All I see is a blob.
Even in a 4D.
Well, you can see the nose and eyes, but it was too early. I was very concerned. I wanted to know right then.
I mean, we fought over these pictures so much because he's like, I don't think he looks like me. I said, how do you figure?
Just when you think science won't get involved, bam! The baby has a blood disorder, and Mr. Hendricks sees it as more proof. Since their older daughter never had it, he's convinced something's off. Mrs. Hendricks argues it's a random medical issue, but he's stuck on this. Time for an expert opinion.
It went to the extent when we were in the hospital, when he was born, he was not breathing for a minute and a half. Finds out he's got a blood disorder. Is crazy because it's fighting with her blood. But the more I got to thinking about it, none of my other kids have ever had this problem. Our 4-year-old daughter does not have this problem.
And so you're wondering if potentially this has something, the fact that the baby may have another biological father.
Correct.
Dr. Jamila Gator enters with the facts. She explains that a mother's blood can sometimes clash with the baby's, and it doesn't mean the dad isn't the father. The judge says, see, science says relax. But does Mr. Hendricks listen? No. He's even more emotional now.
Like DNA, blood type is passed down from parent to child. And so typically in ABO incompatibility, the mother has type O, the baby has a different type. And what happens is the mother's body sees that blood as foreign, and the baby can can get very sick. Typically, the blood supply between mom and baby are kept separate, but we do know in almost every pregnancy that cells do pass back forth.
This part is heartbreaking. Mr. Hendricks gets emotional, talking about how much he loves his family. He calls them his solar system, and now feels like his universe is collapsing. The judge takes a moment, letting it sink in, and then the moment of truth arrives.
This family is my planet. It's what I breathe. This one here just completes my solar system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you want this to be your child?
130%. I want them to be mine, so we could be happy again. Put all this, BS behind us and go forward, be a family.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
The judge opens the envelope. Boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hendricks, you are the father. I told you.
Oh man, this case was wild from the start. Judge Lake introduces Kidd versus Rawlings, where Mr. Kidd claims he was tricked into fatherhood. Ms. Rawlings insists he always knew the truth. And trust me, this is just the beginning of the madness.
Mr. Kidd, you say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family, and you are 100% positive you are her son's father.
Mr. Kidd came in ready to fight. He says Ms. Rawlings sent letters saying he was going to be a dad, and he never doubted it. But oh boy, just wait until you hear her side of the story.
When this first started off, she came to me and told me that he was mine. She was sending me letters when I was gone.
And so you were away when she found out she was pregnant?
I went away a month after she found out she was pregnant.
Did you tell him it was his child, Ms. Rawlings?
No, Your Honor.
This part was straight up messy. Ms. Rawlings says she met Mr. Kidd while also dating another guy. Things got complicated fast, and let's just say this drama is far from over.
We met through a mutual friend. I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd. Starting off, my mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. That's how me and Mr. Kidd ended up having relations, because I was staying with him. Everything progressed and everything started off. Somehow another female came into the picture. I went off and did my own thing and was dealing with him and another gentleman also.
This had the whole courtroom confused. Ms. Rawlings says Mr. Kidd told her he had a rare condition that made having kids impossible. But just wait, it gets even weirder.
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he has some type of rare form of blood disease and that me and his child would die if I was pregnant by him.
He had a rare blood disease?
No.
And if he got you pregnant, the baby would not be able to be carried full term?
Jaw drop moment, Ms. Jenkins saw a baby picture and thought it was a prank. The baby looked just like Mr. Kidd. From that moment, she was sure she had a grandson. No DNA test needed, according to her.
I got a phone call from my daughter, and she said, "Mom, you need to look at this picture. Who got my son's baby pictures?" She said, "That's not your son." I said, "Yes, that is. I gave birth to him. I know who he is." She said, "That's his son." And I was like, "What? Hold on. No. Why am I just now hearing about this?" So I contacted his friend who gave me Miss Rawlings' number. We talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes.
The audience lost it here. Judge Lake shows baby pictures of Mr. Kidd and Nathaniel. Ms. Jenkins swears the baby has the family lips, the ultimate proof, apparently. But Ms. Rawlings isn't backing down.
And when you look at these pictures, what do you see?
My son.
Your son on the left, and that's Nathaniel on the right. And you really believe, as you look at those pictures, that's your grandson. And as we take a look at the second picture, it's Mr. Kidd as a teen and Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he has my lips.
You think they look exactly alike, minus your lips, those are your lips.
He's got my lips.
This part was kind of sweet. Ms. Rawlings let Ms. Jenkins visit the baby, even though she didn't believe Mr. Kidd was the dad. But with all this drama, you know things were about to go left.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. Mr. Kidd can't see the moments that he's missing. At least his mom will be able to have him, and his family has some story to tell.
As you stand here at the defendant podium, you say you know Mr. Kidd is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Drama turns into what is even happening. Ms. Jenkins had custody of the baby for over a month. She even had a handwritten note. Ms. Rawlings says she just needed help, but things only got crazier.
I had him for a period of time. You took him back. We went through that phase, and now we're back at the point where you're sending me pictures every day again. She was going through a situation and got kicked out of where she lived because her choice of men are not just the greatest, I guess, in the world. He wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She was trying to get her life together. She gave me the baby a period of time with a
How long?
I had him for a month and a couple days.
Science steps in. Dr. Gator says Mr. Kidd's condition could have made him infertile, but not for sure. Suddenly, everyone in the courtroom is questioning everything.
So I think there's two separate issues here. There was an issue about Rh blood incompatibility.
Yes.
And that has to do with a mother and a baby, and if there's different blood types between the father of the baby, positive and negative. And so there are various childhood infections from mumps to repeated urinary tract infections to STIs like gonorrhea and chlamydia. Those makes it difficult for you to emit sperm.
The tension was unreal. Judge Lake asks if this new info changes Ms. Rawlings' mind, but nope. She still says Mr. Kidd isn't the father, but it's time for the moment of truth.
So, Ms. Rawlings, after you've heard the testimony of the doctor, does that change your mind in terms of your belief? Because when you came in, you don't really think he's the biological father.
No, ma'am.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kidd, you are the father.
Oh boy, this is a mess before it even starts. Mr. Calhoun says Ms. Prout tricked him into thinking he was her baby's dad. He insists it's impossible since she was with other guys. Ms. Prout says he's only denying it because of child support, and things are about to get spicy.
You say the defendant tried to trick you into believing you are her daughter Amaya's biological father. But after uncovering evidence that she slept with other men, you are positive the DNA will prove you are not. You claim that you are positive that Mr. Calhoun is Amaya's father, and the only reason he is denying her is because you put him on child support.
This is the ultimate I'm not ready for a relationship moment. He says they were just friends, but when she caught feelings, he ghosted her, except for those late night calls. Judge Lake isn't buying it, and neither is anyone else. Instead of digging out, he just keeps digging deeper.
Me and Miss Prout have been friends for a while, but when I seen that she wanted to make a relationship out of things, I cut her off. I just kind of pushed away from her. I stopped calling, stopped answering her calls and texts, pretty much ignored her existence.
Because she wanted to get serious.
Because she wanted to get serious, yes, ma'am.
Finding out you're pregnant is stressful, but this was pure chaos. Ms. Prout told Mr. Calhoun, and they both freaked out. He wanted a DNA test, but now he says he blocked her because she was crazy. Oh, so she was fine for the fun part, but now she's crazy? The math isn't mathing.
Me and a family member of his, we went to the store. I bought a pregnancy test, went back to his house, took the test. It was positive. The lines were fainted. The next day, I told him and showed him the test, but we were both in disbelief.
That's not true, Your Honor.
That I was pregnant. He said he didn't believe me, but he wanted a DNA test. Somewhere in there, you believed that I was pregnant because you wanted a DNA test.
Just when you think it can't get worse, Mr. Calhoun claims Ms. Prout took fertility meds to trap him. The audience nearly falls out of their seats as she loudly denies it. If looks could eliminate, we'd need an ambulance. And trust me, this isn't even his wildest claim.
After I found out that she said she was pregnant, I blocked her on all social media and everything because I thought she was crazy. She called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
That's a bunch of bull.
Oh, did you say that, Ms. Prout?
No, Your Honor, I did not believe I was pregnant. I went to about 4 or 5 different emergency rooms.
Ms. Prout pulls out a whole calendar, marking the exact dates they hooked up twice. The dates line up, proving he's the dad, but Mr. Calhoun isn't convinced. He insists she was with other guys, and instead of solving anything, the calendar just makes it worse.
The red indicates the date you were intimate with Mr. Calhoun twice.
Unprotected.
And the yellow indicates the window of conception. So as you can see, the day you said you had sex with Mr. Calhoun falls directly in the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's why you believe he is the father of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
The audience gasps. Mr. Calhoun says she admitted being with another guy right before they hooked up. Ms. Prout smirks and says it was actually weeks before. Judge Lake is side-eyeing both of them, and things are about to get even more uncomfortable.
You don't believe you were intimate on
there's
July
no issue with the dates, but I'm saying I have reason to believe that she was intimate with other dudes besides me during those days.
Really?
I have reason to believe that after a conversation that me and Miss Prout had on the phone, she told me she was having sex with a dude all the way up until the day of the July 24th.
Oh!
Mr. Calhoun had no contact during the pregnancy, but showed up for the birth. She asked him to sign the birth certificate, and though he wanted a DNA test, he signed anyway. Later, he found out the hospital actually did DNA tests. Regret on his face? Priceless.
How did you get on the birth certificate?
I got on the birth certificate because upon getting a call from Kia, remember, I never had any contact with Kia for the whole 9 months she was pregnant.
So you didn't have any contact?
No contact. I get a call from Kia on the day her water is broken. She's saying,
no, you did not get a call.
You have a daughter being born. Do you want to come up here and see your daughter being born? I came to the hospital just to see if she was pregnant.
Facebook always stirs the pot. Someone sent Mr. Calhoun a screenshot of another guy commenting on baby pictures. When he called Ms. Prout, she told him, "You're the stupid one that signed the papers." The audience lost it, and honestly, same.
It's the situation with Facebook. This is barely 3 weeks after she's born. It's brought to my attention, hey, there's some guy next to your baby's picture, and there's comments up under it. Everybody is saying like, hey, this is his baby. Why are you telling these people that this is the father when we just talked on the phone? I'm Amaya's father, that this dude is nothing to her. She tells me, she says, you're the stupid one that signed the papers. I told you that wasn't your daughter.
Really?
Ms. Prout's own godsister takes the stand and says she was already pregnant before reconnecting with Mr. Calhoun. She noticed the mood swings and attitude changes early. Ms. Prout just smirks like, oh well, girl, what?
My godsister was having unprotected sex with another man. Also, before he came into the picture, my godsister was already pregnant because of her demeanor. So when he did come into the picture, they had unprotected sex, of course. A week later, she took a pregnancy test. That's not enough time to consider him a possibility.
Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Calhoun, you are the father.
Oh boy, this case is a disaster waiting to happen. Ms. Jackson drags her ex, Mr. Brown, to court, claiming he's the father of her 26-year-old daughter, Tanika. His wife, Ms. Brown, isn't having it and yells, "That's a lie, Your Honor!" Oh, and there's a child support bill bigger than college tuition, $20,624.08. Buckle up.
Ms. Jackson, you've dragged your ex-boyfriend to court to prove he fathered your 26-year-old daughter, Tanika. You claim he's denied her since birth because you were caught in a love triangle with him and his wife.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. 1 week ago, you reopened your child support case in which you state Mr. Brown owes you $20,624.08.
Yes, Your Honor.
Flashback to 26 years ago at the club, where the chaos began. Ms. Jackson met Mr. Brown while dancing, but surprise, his wife was there too. When asked, he said, "Oh, she's just a friend." Later that night, he sneaked back, and let's just say, things got messy real fast.
I met him at the club, and we started talking, we started dancing. He told me he'll be back. When he left with his wife, Miss Brown, I asked him who she was. He told me if she was just a friend. So he came back to the club. We danced, we partied, and then we went to the apartment.
Not mine. No, that's a lie. That's
it was
a lie.
Apartment, Your Honor.
It wasn't my
Whose
apartment?
It was their apartment.
Ms. Brown went looking for her missing husband, but he was nowhere to be found. His car was outside, so she knew he was there. Turns out he was hiding in the club bathroom with another woman. She banged on the door, and when it opened, bam, caught red-handed. And trust me, it gets worse.
The first time I caught them together was at the club. I couldn't find him anywhere. So I walked around the parking lot looking, he wasn't out there. He wasn't in the club. I said, well, there was one place he could be because his car was still outside. So I knocked on the door of the bathroom. I said, open this door. He cracked it a little bit. So when I pushed it open, she in there, done him in the bathroom. But I told her, I said, you can go.
Months later, Ms. Brown came home to find her closet door moving. Either she had a ghost or a really bad cheater. She opened it and boom, Ms. Jackson was inside, completely naked. That's right, her husband hid his mistress in the closet. At this point, he should have just packed up and moved to another state.
After that, this was some months later, when I got to my apartment, I unlocked the door with the key. So at that point, I heard my closet door slide open. I heard somebody grab the bed and went in the closet. I said, oh no. When I got inside, I went right to the closet, opened the door. She standing up there naked, had my man in my house.
Mr. Brown didn't even try to deny it. He straight up admitted he was with both women. Did he use protection? Nope. But then he claimed, I don't think I'm the father, because he thought Ms. Jackson had other partners. Oh, so you can cheat, but she can't? Got it.
Were you sleeping with both of them without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
So why do you deny that Tanika is your daughter?
Well, Your Honor, I've seen too many things happen. Like one morning, I thought she was at work. Come find out, she was out with another man. We was kind of like staying together.
Ms. Brown says Mr. Brown couldn't be the father since he was out of town for 3 months. She also claims Ms. Jackson refused a DNA test for years. But Ms. Jackson insists she was only with Mr. Brown. And just when you think it's over, boom, another plot twist.
She was supposed to have been born 3 months later than what she was born if he would have been there. He had been gone for 3 months, but instead she was born 3 months earlier. And every time, Your Honor, we asked her for a paternity test, she get mad.
Why do you think she's avoiding the test?
Cause she know that's not his daughter.
Was he acting like Tanika was his child?
Yes, Your
Was he
Honor.
excited about
Yes,
child?
Your Honor. He named her Tanika Lachey Brown.
Ms. Jackson whips out a birth certificate showing Mr. Brown as the father, but Ms. Brown isn't buying it. Turns out another man's name was there first because Ms. Jackson was married at the time. Mr. Brown still swears he never signed it, but Ms. Jackson has receipts.
This is a copy of my birth certificate.
That's a birth certificate that's a fake, Your Honor. That is a fraud. Her mama been lying to her, and she's sitting here and believing her.
So wait, on this birth certificate, it does say Dwight Stanley Brown.
He didn't sign that. Spelled the name. He was with me during the time that birth certificate. This
Now, I do not
certificate.
see a signature on this birth
Because
certificate,
he did not
though.
sign it.
Ms. Brown reveals they begged Ms. Jackson for a DNA test from 1990 to 2002, but she avoided it every time. The judge asks why, and Ms. Jackson pulls out a signed paternity document from 1990. Cue the gasps.
Okay, the first time was 1990. I paid money to have a test done for her. She didn't show up. Again, the summer of 90. She said, "Don't keep calling me. That's an insult about DNA testing." Okay, then we went to Ms. Jackson again. Went up to the lab again to get a DNA testing. I paid my money. My husband didn't pay child support. I did. I took care of her.
That's true.
Ms. Jackson hands over proof that Mr. Brown admitted paternity years ago. Ms. Brown instantly calls it fake. The judge compares signatures, and things look suspicious. Mr. Brown denies signing it, but at this point, no one knows what's real.
This is a document signed by Dwight Stanley Brown.
Not my husband's signature.
Signed the 24th day of September, 1990.
That is not my husband's signature there.
Ron,
There, go right there, Dwight, on
hand
screen.
this to Mr. and Ms. Brown and let them look
can
at
see
that
that from
signature.
here.
Is that your signature, sir?
No, Your Honor. It's not.
Your Honor.
After 26 years of drama, the results are in. The judge opens the envelope. Boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are her father.
Buckle up. This is wilder than a soap opera. Mr. Patterson storms into court, ready to prove he's DeMarcus Jr.'s dad. But Ms. Knight says, "Hold up, there's another guy." The courtroom is buzzing, and this mess is just getting started.
Mr. Patterson, you opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father. You named him and have cared for your junior since birth and are furious the defendant now claims another man is his father.
Cue dramatic music. Patterson remembers baby DeMarcus Jr. looking at him and just knowing. He was so sure he was the dad. He tossed doubts out like trash. Little did he know, a storm was coming.
I've been there since birth, since he came out the womb, since he entered this world. When the doctor first held him up and finally gave him to him, I witnessed him just completely quit crying and looked me dead in my eyes. And at that moment, I knew I became someone's father. So at that moment, like all the doubts that we had before, I just knew like they were just out the window and just, it was gonna leave us a happy family, but
But it didn't happen that way.
Not exactly.
Plot twist. Ms. Knight admits she always told Patterson he might not be the dad. She had also been with Ladarius Sigler. Patterson kinda remembers, but he chose love over logic. Spoiler, this gets even wilder.
I let DeMarcus know when I got pregnant that there was a possibility that I could be pregnant by someone else.
So you were honest from the start?
From the beginning.
When she first told me she was pregnant, that's when we was like the house hopping thing, because when she moved out of her parents' house, she ain't had nowhere to go, so let her live there too.
I mean, that's how we started our relationship. We were together every day since then.
Awkward alert. Ms. Knight confesses she and Sigler ran out of protection, but went for it anyway. When she got pregnant, she told Patterson he might not be the dad, but Patterson, in full love mode, stuck around. Bad idea? Just wait.
We ended up having protected sex that night, and then we ran out of condoms, and while we were doing it, I told him to go ahead and get me pregnant. That's what I told him. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I called DeMarcus and let DeMarcus know, I'm pregnant right now, and it's a possibility that it's Ladarius' baby or your baby. DeMarcus told me to come home.
So you got back together with Mr. Patterson.
Because I love me and Ladarius.
The Lion King. Patterson was ready to hold up baby DeMarcus Jr. like Simba. He rushed Ms. Knight to the hospital. Full dad mode activated. Even after the doctor stole his big moment, he gave the baby his name. But doubts were lurking.
DeMarcus was there. He was there when my water broke. We woke him up, said, "Baby, my water broke. Time to go to the hospital." He hopped. All right, let's do this. So we was in the hospital that whole day. Had the baby. He didn't get to cut the umbilical cord because the doctor took it upon himself to cut it. When he had the baby, DeMarcus looked over, said, "That's my baby. We ain't naming him no Christian. We naming him DeMarcus Pat."
3 months in, Ms. Knight squinted at the baby. He looks like Ladarius. They debated, compared baby pics, and wondered about a DNA test. Patterson ignored it, still playing dad. Another plot twist ahead.
Well, it was a conversation between me and DeMarcus we had often. I mean, DJ turned about 3 months, and I looked at him one time, and I was like, like, wow, he kind of looked like Ladary.
Oh, so you all were open about this?
Yes, always open. We would take rides to the gas station. He'd show me pictures of Ladary. Like, you sure this like that?
I started seeing his ears slant out, and I was like, hold up. Just like, I don't know, though.
Now, things get real messy. Ms. Knight brings in Sigler's mom, who is also her godmother. That means Sigler is basically her godbrother. Courtroom, shook. Buckle up. It's not over yet.
My godmama.
That's Mr. Sigler's mother.
Right.
So that's the other guy's mother.
Right.
And so you said Miss Sigler is your godmother.
Right.
So the other possible father is your godbrother?
Right.
Oh.
Ladary.
Oh, you making this look bad.
Lord.
Ms. Knight sees a baby picture of Sigler's family and has an uh-oh moment. DeMarcus Jr. looks exactly like them. She lets Sigler start bonding with the baby just in case. And now it's time for the ultimate showdown.
My godmama ended up sending me pictures of it, and me and DeMarcus actually was in the same vehicle at the same time when she sent this one picture. I looked at DeMarcus, he looked at me and was like, yo, that's DeMarcus,
And
that's
you
DJ
submitted
family.
that picture to the court. Miss Sigler as a baby.
The other one, that didn't do much for me. The other one did.
And this is DeMarcus Jr.
That's the one she sent me, and me and DeMarcus in the car and was like, that's DJ.
Dramatic entrance. Sigler walks in saying, yeah, that kid is mine. Turns out he knew about the pregnancy before Ms. Knight did. He even took her to confirm it, but then got cut out of the picture. Now, the kid calls both men daddy.
Do you believe you are DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father?
Yes, ma'am. I was the one who told her she was pregnant. And when I told her she was pregnant, she say, well, if you feel like that, take me to the clinic. So I did. So when we got back from that situation, we had conflict. She like, it could possibly be his. It could possibly be yours. So therefore now, like she say, all in water.
Men daddy. Yep, DeMarcus Jr. calls both guys daddy. Sigler swears the kid loves him, and Patterson looks defeated. The judge is exhausted. There's only one way to fix this mess. DNA test time.
And he was 3 months old when I first met DeMarcus. I did gang attachment to him as well, but I understood the situation. They come down to, is this baby? We want to know, he want to know. Before it get any farther, get out of hand, I don't want him growing up because he do know both of us. He do look at both of us like fathers.
Does he call you daddy too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Lord.
Silence. Judge Lake reads the results. BAM.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Sigler.
Judge Lake introduces the case, saying Ms. Valdez-Lark's engagement to Mr. Slater is on pause until they figure out if he secretly made a baby with his ex, Ms. Pitts. This is the kind of drama that makes reality TV look boring. And trust me, it's just getting started.
Claim your engagement to your fiance, Mr. Slater, is on hold until you determine today if he cheated on you and fathered his ex's 1-year-old daughter, Harmony.
Yes, Your Honor.
So there's a lot riding on today's results.
Imagine just minding your business and suddenly a 12-year-old drops a baby bombshell on you. Ms. Valdez-Lark explains how she got a call in 2012 from Mr. Slater's 12-year-old daughter, which led to a very awkward conversation with Ms. Pitts, who straight up claimed Mr. Slater was her baby daddy. I mean, how do you even respond to that? Congrats? Are you sure? This was a disaster waiting to happen.
Back in September 2012, I received a phone call from their 12-year-old daughter stating that Ms. Pitts would like to speak with me. She said, I'm not calling you to be messy. I need to speak with you on a matter. She was like, I'm pregnant by Rob. So I'm like, that's a lie, Your Honor.
So, not only is there baby drama, but adoption drama too. Ms. Pitts says she was planning to give the baby up for adoption, but she needed Mr. Slater's signature and, surprise, surprise, she couldn't find him. Turns out, tracking down a disappearing baby daddy is harder than getting customer service to answer the phone.
I was supposed to get my daughter up.
Ms. Pitts, you were considering adoption.
Yes, ma'am.
Etc. So you were making this call for that reason.
Yes, ma'am.
When you finally got him on the phone,
no, ma'am. She didn't even get him on the phone. She got me. He wasn't there.
Mr. Slater really walks in here acting like this is the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard. He swears up and down there's no way Harmony is his, because according to him, he hasn't been with Ms. Pitts in years and claims she's just obsessed with him. I mean, dude, if she was that obsessed with you, wouldn't she have picked someone who actually takes care of their kids?
Do you believe you're the father?
No.
You don't?
No, Your Honor, because I haven't had sex with her.
Why would she just come up with your name like you the father?
I said because she obsessed with me. Everyone I talk to, she call him and tell him that I got her pregnant.
Oh, she's obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Watching Mr. Slater try to answer questions is like watching someone try to talk their way out of a speeding ticket. It's painful. He keeps saying he hasn't been with Ms. Pitts in a long time, but when Judge Lake asks for an exact time frame, suddenly his memory just poof disappears. Man's acting like this is a math test he didn't study for.
How long has it been since you slept with Ms. Pitts?
I can't remember, Your Honor.
Has it been 6 months?
He can't even say that because his oldest daughter told him to his face in my presence that he was at his mother, in her mother's house.
If you lying was a drinking game, everyone in this courtroom would be passed out by now. Judge Lake is done playing and calls out Mr. Slater for calling everyone a liar but never actually proving anything himself. At this point, even the audience is like, sir, do you know anything? Anything at all?
The first thing out your mouth is she's a lie. Now I'm starting to believe you the lie. Now you're gonna have to come up with some testimony in here that makes some sense. But every time they make a statement, they a lie.
And boom, the test results are in. And guess what?
Mr. Slater, you are her father.
Keep on lying. It's not gonna change anything. Whether she ain't mine biologically, I signed the birth certificate, I cut the cord, she was there from day one. She's mine! She's staying with me, nobody else.
I feel your pain. You said to the court clearly you wanted both children to be yours.
I was like, that's just ratchetness. That is just getting some scandalous stuff.
Ratchet?
Yes, it's
I'm
ratchet.
ratchet because I was made
You know,
in
you're
the
ready to these two. If there's 13 possibilities,
These guys, everybody's attacking me like I'm the one that was laying down sleeping with people. I'm the one that was made.
Miss Myers.
Okay?
This case is already a disaster before it even starts. Mr. Rash thinks he might not be the father because his wife cheated on him, slept with 5 brothers, and has another dude's name tattooed on her. Just when you think that's bad, it somehow gets worse.
You are here today seeking the results of paternity tests for your 2 children. You claim your wife, Ms. Fuentes, has cheated on you repeatedly. You say she once left you for another man, slept with 5 brothers from the same family, and even had the name of another guy tattooed on her body.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, and did we mention she brought another guy who might be the father? Ms. Fuentes straight up says her husband was never her type, and she's not even sure who the dad is. When this mystery man enters, things get super awkward.
Today, you've also brought another man to court who is waiting outside, who you believe could also be the father of one of your children.
I do, in fact, actually, I have cheated on him. I'm gonna admit that, but he knew from the get-go, like, look, my past, I grew up in foster care. I didn't have the best childhood, and I told him, look, don't use my past against me. I was still in love with my
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Now they're fighting over the kids like a bad reality show. Ms. Fuentes says Mr. Rash kept the kids from her for 6 months, and he says she was too busy partying to be a mom. Just wait until the DNA results drop.
I had gotten with another dude, okay? He took the kids and wouldn't let me see him for over 6 months. He would not let me talk or see to my kid. There was maybe 2 times at the end of the 6 months that he actually let me see my kid.
Is that true, Mr. Rash?
Yes, Your Honor. I did take them for 6 months because I felt like she wasn't being a mother. She wanted to sit there and go out and have sex and drink.
That's what he wanted to
and
think.
go have fun.
At least someone here is acting like an adult. Mr. Rash has raised these kids, worked hard, and even tattooed their names on his arms. Too bad the truth is about to hit like a brick.
I was there from day one. They're tattooed to my arms, you know.
Were you working throughout the pregnancy?
Yes, ma'am. I'm an auto mechanic.
On and off, he always got fired. He was getting beat up by his bosses because he's...
So you say you held a job?
Yes, ma'am.
And you contribute to the household and support your children?
Ma'am.
You have the children?
Yes, ma'am.
You're raising them as your own?
Yes.
Mr. Judd, the maybe dad, doesn't seem too worried. He admits he slept with Ms. Fuentes, but says the kid doesn't look like him, so it's probably not his. That logic is about to get tested real quick.
Did you have sex with Ms. Fuentes?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the nature of your relationship?
Pretty much just family friend.
And so just a family friend?
Right.
Do you believe you're her child's father?
Don't look like me at all.
Looks don't matter. She could take after my family. She
But
looks
the
like
time of conception matches. You understand that, right? That at the time the child was conceived, you were sleeping with her.
Correct.
Now, the mom of several men Ms. Fuentes has been with steps in. She says her sons are just as responsible, but she still considers Ms. Fuentes family. Things are about to explode with the DNA results.
Ms. Fuentes had sex with pretty much all your sons.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Oh, how many you got?
I got 10.
Ooh! All boys?
I got 3 girls.
Ooh! So she had sex with several of your sons. What do you feel about that?
She'll do anything in the world for me, and I'll do anything in the world for her. I love her children. Her children look at me like a grandmother.
Mr. Rash just wants both kids to be his. He's been their dad, and no test is going to change that for him. But, well, the test results are about to say otherwise.
Just want my kids to be mine, and, you know, I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing.
Do you still want a relationship with Ms. Fuentes?
You know what? In light of all this, no. I mean, like, I don't even care anymore.
Finally, some good news. Mr. Rash is the father of 1-year-old Christina, and he's relieved. But the next envelope is about to break his heart.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, In the case of Rash versus Fuentes, when it comes to 1-year-old Christina, Mr. Rash, you are her father.
Uh-oh, here it comes. The results say Mr. Judd, not Mr. Rash, is actually Gabriella's father. Mr. Rash loses it, and Ms. Fuentes cries because deep down, she knew this was coming.
When it comes to 2-year-old Gabriella, Mr. Judd, you are the father.
Oh my God. I'll never forgive you for that. Never.
She deserves to know.
No, she don't deserve to know.
Yes, she does.
You lied to her and you lied to me. I'll never forgive you. Never!
This part is rough. Mr. Rash refuses to let Gabriella go and says she's still his daughter no matter what, but the drama isn't over yet.
It's not gonna change anything. Whether she ain't mine biologically, I signed the birth certificate, I cut the cord, she was there from day one. She's mine! She's staying with me. Nobody else.
I feel your pain. You said to the court clearly you wanted both children to be yours.
Mr. Judd could not care less. He says he'll pay child support, but wants nothing to do with Ms. Fuentes. The room is tense as Judge Lake steps in with some final words.
Mr. Judd, you're standing there quietly. Are you in shock?
Not in shock.
How do you feel?
Yes, I did what I did. I gotta deal with it.
When you say deal with it, you mean?
Child support.
But how about being a father?
Of course I will, but I won't be with her.
You have no desire to be with Ms. Fuentes.
It would take two, and
Not at
I
all.
feel the same way. Like, we're just not going down that road.
This case is already off the rails. Ms. Short is here demanding Mr. Johnson step up as a dad, but he's refusing until a DNA test proves it. Things are already tense, and it's only gonna get wilder from here.
Ms. Short, you and your mother opened your case today because your first love, the defendant, denies he fathered your 21-month-old son, Jabari. You are a single teenage mother who needs help, and you demand Mr. Johnson step up and be a father.
Ms. Short starts crying, saying she needs help because her baby needs a father. Her mom backs her up, but also didn't want Mr. Johnson too involved if he wasn't the dad. This is emotional, but trust me, the drama is just getting started.
Ms. Short, you say you need help.
Yes, because he's the father of my son, and my son, as a boy, need a father figure, and I need extra help, like while I'm in school.
She just need to know, is he the father, so he can step up and do the right thing, hopefully. You know, we can't make him for coming over because I didn't want no feelings to get involved.
This love triangle is a total mess. Ms. Short was with Mr. Johnson on April 23rd, but by May 3rd, she was with another guy. Now she's sure it's Mr. Johnson's baby, but math is about to be questioned.
Me and Mr. Johnson had sex April 23rd. I seen him on Facebook with another female, and he was like, I don't want you, I want her. He was talking about the other female. He just left me. After that happened, it was May 3rd. I went out to eat with some friends. At night, I had met the other boy, and this is not my first time meeting him, but this is the first time we ever had sex.
Mr. Johnson didn't even know she was pregnant for 6 months. He thought the baby was his until his friends spilled tea about another guy. Now he's got serious doubts, and this case is getting way messier.
I found out she was pregnant 6 months into her pregnancy.
And were you informed that you were the biological father?
Yes, ma'am. She told my mom that she was pregnant and I could be the father. So at the time, I'm thinking that the baby's mine. I got her friends coming to me, talking to me about the other dude. I was the one that had the baby. I was there. When she called me and asked me for stuff, I was there to help her.
Ms. Short's mom is mad, saying Mr. Johnson hasn't done anything for Jabari. His mom claps back, saying they tried to be involved but were pushed away. The family drama just keeps heating up.
She didn't come to the baby shower, bought the baby 1 box of Pampers. He bought the baby a small pack of Pampers. It been a struggle. I've been raising him. I guess he have babies for trophies. He don't pay child support for none of his kids.
And I didn't go.
To have to raise the child without any financial support from a father.
She says her due date proves Mr. Johnson is the dad, but Judge Lake is like, girl, you were with someone 10 days later. Let's not forget that. If you thought this was simple, think again.
I'm going by the dates. My due date was January 14th. I had him January 8th. I had sex with Mr. Johnson April 23rd. And May 3rd is just too close.
You reached out to them as well to say that it is a possibility that he could be the biological father. Proximity of the time you had sex with Mr. Johnson and the time you had sex with the other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Short pulls out a letter where Mr. Johnson promised to be a good dad. He admits he wrote it, but claims he didn't know about the other guy at the time. This might be a smoking gun, but we're not done yet.
And this is something he wrote to you? He writes, I'll be there for you and my child. I love all mine. That one thing you ain't got to worry about. I'm going to be a great father to my children. Promise promised you in that moment that he was going to be a good father to his child. Do you remember writing that, Mr. Johnson?
I remember writing that letter, but at the time I thought that Jabari was mine.
Judge Lake is fed up and tells them they need to grow up. She reminds them raising a kid is not a game, and they need to figure it out fast. The audience is loving it, but things get even crazier next.
And now you've gotten yourself into this whole big drama with adult situations and adult problems. You can't even string 2 good sentences together in this courtroom to take care of a living child, this beautiful little boy, almost 2 years old. And this is babies having babies, and this has got to stop.
Then, bam! Mr. Johnson casually drops that he has 4 other kids. Even his own mom doubts some of them are his, and Judge Lake is not impressed.
How many children do you have?
I have, with Jabari, I have 5 in all.
So you got 4 other children.
Yes, ma'am.
And Jabari would make 5?
Can I say
And you're
something?
20 years old?
These are not your kids, you want them. They're not his. I wish they can do blood tests too, but they don't want to.
But the fact that he is in the running for the position as father, and I don't mean it's not a joke, I mean it.
Judge Lake gives him a history lesson, telling him he's not just here to make babies. He sits there like, dang, okay, but now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for.
But when you don't have purpose in your life, and when you don't understand that there is more to do in this life than lay down with boys and make babies, that you can go to college and you can make something of yourself, and you can be the president of the United States, then you don't sit around and not even sit around, lay around with young men who are busy with multiple women, because you're better than that.
The room is silent as the results are read.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are the father.
This case is already a mess before it even starts. Ms. Brewington says Mr. Lee is Giovanni's dad, but he swears he isn't and just wants to avoid child support. Judge Lake knows she's about to deal with pure chaos.
Ms. Brewington, you are here to prove your 3-year-old son Giovanni is Mr. Lee's biological child, and you claim Mr. Lee has been a father to your son since the day he was born and is denying paternity because he wants to avoid paying child support.
Ms. Brewington says they were working on things, and definitely together, when Giovanni was conceived. Mr. Lee says, nope, even though they lived together and shared a bed. Somehow he thinks they pulled off a no-touching arrangement.
At the time that Gio was conceived, we were not having no type of intercourse. We were not cool at the moment.
You don't believe you were working on the relationship at the time Giovanni was conceived?
No, not at all.
Your Honor, I was living with him. We were living in the same household, in the same bed.
Were you living in the same house?
Around the time, yes.
So were you sharing a bed?
Yes, ma'am.
And fluid.
No.
Clearly, yes.
Ms. Brewington finds out she's pregnant when she goes to get birth control. Whoops. Mr. Lee makes her take 3 pregnancy tests, and when they all say positive, he still says, not mine. Denial mode is officially activated.
Found out that I was pregnant. I actually went to the doctor to just re-up on my birth control. So I went ahead, they did a pregnancy test. It came up positive. I told him, he did not believe me at all. He went out and got 3 pregnancy tests, made me take all of them. They were all positive. And he was like, well, that's not my baby, because we didn't have sex.
She was just getting fat. Instead of accepting the pregnancy, Mr. Lee tells people Ms. Brewington is just gaining weight. Even while she's showing ultrasound pictures, he says, don't believe her. He even denies she's in labor. Legendary levels of delusion.
He was telling people I was just getting fat. He was like, she just eats a lot of fast food. Everybody was rubbing, my friends were rubbing my stomach. I'm showing ultrasounds to people. He's like, don't believe her, she's just fat.
What kind of denial is this? Mr. Lee, you taking denial too far.
Exactly.
This is what it was. She was trying to get back with me, but I wasn't, so she felt like if we have a child, we might work out.
Somehow, Mr. Lee goes from not my kid to signing the birth certificate and naming the baby. Later, he claims he didn't know he couldn't just erase his name. This man has zero understanding of how birth certificates work.
He came after I had given birth because he had work, but he showed right up. He actually didn't even, they asked about the birth certificate and everything. He signed the birth certificate. He named my son. He wouldn't even, he was like, no, I'm not letting you give my son no dumb name until we do a DNA test. I offered the DNA test in the hospital.
She did not say that.
But you signed the birth certificate, right?
Yes, I did.
If you had all this denial.
Mr. Lee says Ms. Brewington's friend told him another guy is the real dad. Ms. Brewington claps back saying that friend was actually sleeping with Mr. Lee. This is now a full-on soap opera.
And another reason I did not think that it was mine is one of her friends, a good friend of her, actually told me that I wasn't the father. Told me that she knows who's the father.
My friend told him that she wanted to sleep with him. him.
I'm still talking.
I actually caught them sleeping together.
What?
Ms. Brewington brings out childhood photos, claiming Giovanni looks just like Mr. Lee. Judge Lake reminds her that looking alike isn't DNA proof. Mr. Lee looks at the picture like he's never seen that child before.
This is a picture of Giovanni on the left.
And that's Jay.
And this is Mr. Lee as a child on the right.
Yeah.
And you say you see a definite resemblance
between them two, yeah.
They're light skinned.
You really don't believe he's yours now that he's here in the world?
No, I don't really see too much of me. Maybe, yeah, like I said, we light skinned, we got curls, but other than that, it could be anybody.
They got the same hairline, nose.
Judge Lake tells them to stop the nonsense because Giovanni calls Mr. Lee daddy. Ms. Brewington starts tearing up as reality sets in. Mr. Lee is just waiting for his I told you so moment.
And consistently have the man you believe to be his father deny him, have to deal with all of this drama.
It's not on. I really do
Look,
care about
if you don't want that, you should keep your legs low. That's all it is.
Before you condemn, you also have to understand the part you had played.
Yeah, I do.
Because Giovanni's 3. He calls you daddy.
The test results come in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lee, you are not the father.
Told y'all.
Hold up.
I already knew. I told you.
This courtroom was straight up chaos from the start. Ms. Spencer is suing her sister, Ms. Garner, for saying their mom lied about who her real dad is. Things get heated fast, and it's only the beginning.
Ms. Spencer, you're suing the defendant, your sister, for defaming your mother's name by now claiming Mr. Smith is her father. You say today's paternity results will prove he is not.
Imagine being a kid and a random lady walks up like, hey, I'm your aunt and your dad is someone else. Ms. Garner asked her mom about it and she shut it down. But that little thought never left her head.
What did you hear in the 7th grade,
I
Ms. Garner?
was going to school. I was in the 7th grade, and there was a lady that came up to me and she said, I am your aunt, which would be his baby sister. So my mother was still living at that time. And I went home and I asked my mother, and she told me these people was making it up. It wasn't true.
And may I interject to say, if she heard about that in the 7th grade, that would have made you how old, Carmen?
About 12 or 13.
This story takes a crazy turn when a newspaper article brings a long-lost dad out of nowhere. Ms. Garner wrote about being homeless, and suddenly Mr. Smith called saying, hey, I'm your dad. That phone call set off a whole storm.
I had did an article in the newspaper when I was 37 years old. It was about being homeless and on drugs. I had went to Lucius Kirkland's house to wash clothes. When I got back to the shelter, they said a man called and said he seen that article in that newspaper about you being homeless and on drugs, and he had called, Mr. Smith had called the shelter and told them that he was my father.
Really?
Ms. Spencer is not having it and calls Mr. Smith out for waiting so long. She asks why it took an article for him to step up, calling him a sit-down father. The audience is clapping, and things are getting messy.
So if you heard this once before, why didn't you stand up then? Why would it take your grown daughter to come and tell you that woman right there is your child based on an article in the paper? And even after that article ran, he still was a sit-down father. He hasn't stood up yet, but today he comes to stand, and today I come to prove the point. This man is her father.
Mr. Smith swears he never knew, saying he dated their mom but never heard she was pregnant. He claims he's not a bad guy, just didn't have a clue. Ms. Spencer is side-eyeing him hard.
Well, we dated for about a year. At that particular time, Your Honor, I did not.
If he dealt with her for a whole year, he had to have known something. You know, you don't just get a woman pregnant and then you don't see her no more. After a year, there's feelings. After a year, you call her every now and then. After a year, you see her every now and then. My mother hung out.
They show a side-by-side picture, and Ms. Spencer is yelling, look at the nose. Carmen says people have always told her she looks like Mr. Smith. The whole courtroom is squinting like they're playing detective.
That's her dad, Your Honor. Look at those resemblances. Look at that nose. Look at that mouth. That is the man who I believe, when my mother made those accusations, Lucius went to jail whenever he did not pay. And this is only what they've told me, sent a man to jail. If there was gonna be a man go to jail, it would have been him.
Ms. Spencer says Carmen is looking for love in all the wrong places. Carmen says she just wants the truth, not a new dad. Either way, it's all about to come down to the DNA.
I believe this is what she wants to believe. I believe that in life, you have a person, such as Carmen's father, who passed away, opposed to say that she's Alex's child, to say, I can follow behind him.
I don't need a father to follow behind. And one thing for certain and two for sure, if he turns out to be my father, I've had two great stepfathers.
Judge Lake reads the results, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are her father.
Glory.
This whole thing started off like a train wreck you can't look away from. Ms. McKeever says Mr. Arnold is 100% the father, but he's acting like he's never even heard of this kid. And just like that, we're off to a drama-filled start.
Ms. McKeever, you say you have no doubt that Mr. Arnold is your 3-year-old son Kenneth's biological father. You've requested a paternity test and are suing Mr. Arnold for $1,796 in child care expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Arnold refuses to pay because he says the kid isn't his. But here's the kicker. He skipped his DNA test and got named the dad by default. Judge Lake tells him he messed up big time, and now he's stuck. And just when you think he might get it, nope, he keeps digging himself deeper.
No, it's not my child, so why would I pay anything?
You feel confident it's not your child. You know that's a dangerous game, right?
It's not my child, so why should I pay anything? I got put on child support because of not showing up to a DNA test.
Why didn't you show up to the DNA test,
I don't
young
have
man?
any transportation to get to this.
What? Look where it ended up.
Just when it seemed simple, boom, another man is thrown into the mix. Ms. McKeever's sister says she's been paying for everything, while Mr. Arnold's aunt yells, "Wait, wasn't there another guy?" And just like that, we've got a full-blown paternity mystery.
And you've been helping out.
Yes, ma'am.
Paying for expenses.
Haircut, shoes, anything that little boy needs. If she calls me, he have it.
With the understanding that
there was another young man involved who was supposed to be these kids' dad.
Who is this
now,
young
after
man?
2 years, now all of a sudden, my nephew is being blamed for these kids.
This is where the math gets real weird. Ms. McKeever says she was with Mr. Arnold all December, but also with another guy on December 26th. Then she thought it was the other guy's kid, but surprise, that guy took a test and wasn't the dad.
The other young man that I was with, he ended up going away. Mr. Arnold ended up moving with me. You know, we were intimate a lot, unprotected. December 26th. Around January 18th, I end up going to the doctor because I get my 6-month checkup. The lady ended up telling me I was 6 weeks pregnant. The last person who I had intimate with was the other dude.
Now we've got a missing DNA test, 2 years of blocked messages, and a whole lot of yelling. Mr. Arnold wants proof, but somehow no one can find it. Meanwhile, Ms. McKeever swears Kenneth looks just like him, so that should be enough.
You blocked him out for 2 years, blocked him off of Facebook, no contact. 2 years later, this girl pop up and tell him she need to talk to him. She telling him that she did the DNA for the other guy, and he not the daddy. Christopher wanted a
So as my son got older into 2, his features start to come. The other guy that I was intimate with, he decided to get the DNA test.
At this point, it's less a court case and more a family reunion gone wrong. Ms. McKeever breaks down, saying she just wants her son to have a dad, while the family keeps screaming over each other. Judge Lake finally shuts it down and gives everyone a reality check.
Me and you are going to be taking care of those kids, not your family, not nobody else. That's how I look at it.
You don't know.
So therefore, I'm not just bringing him to try to plant a baby on him because, like I said, I want him to be my baby daddy. No, that ain't me. I'm not about to do that. So for them to sit here and try to say, oh, she trying to make him take care of her kids, or she trying to blame him.
Mr. Arnold realizes he could actually go to jail for not paying child support. Judge Lake tells him he needs to start taking things seriously because ignoring it won't make it go away. But forget all that, because now it's time for the results.
I can go to jail for a child that ain't even mine. I don't even know possibly I'm the father.
Now, if you go to jail for failure to pay support, which is a possibility, all because a bus ride with somebody you slept with for the whole month of December, for 3 weeks,
Your Honor.
She said you haven't paid anything, you can get picked up anytime. And all you had to do was show up.
The room goes silent as Judge Lake reads the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Arnold, you are his father.
Step up, baby.
This whole situation is wild from the start. Ms. Myers is in court because her mom, Ms. Madrigal, gave her a list of 13 possible dads. The court found and tested 2 of them, and now we're here for answers.
You have brought your mother to court today because you claim she has no idea who your biological father is. You say your mother gave you a list of 13 possible men, and you are hoping to determine who your father is today. The court has located 2 of the 13 men and has already ordered paternity tests to be administered.
About the 13 men, imagine being 13 and randomly learning you might have 13 dads. Ms. Myers' mom casually dropped names like she was giving out raffle tickets. Now everyone's here to figure out who the real dad is.
When I was 13 years old, I had a father figure in my life. He died that age. And, you know, when he died, I needed closure. I needed somebody to be there. The list came from my mom telling me over approximately a year, maybe a little longer, she would always just say, you know, here's a name.
Ms. Myers says she feels lost not knowing who her dad is. Her mom basically says, I'm all you need, but Myers isn't buying it. Things are already heated, and it's about to get worse.
That your life without a father.
I feel lost. You know, I feel confused. I don't know who I am. I don't know my heritage. I don't know nothing.
You came for me.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
knew
matter.
you're half of the
Doesn't
family,
matter.
but that's only half
Nobody
the story.
else matters. Ain't no man raised me better than you can't, though. It doesn't even matter.
You
so
raised me?
save it. Oh, I raised you.
No, you didn't.
I raised
You weren't
Monica,
even there.
stop
So
it.
anyways.
Ms. Myers brings out a diary where she wrote down possible dads, but pages are missing. She thinks her mom ripped them out, and her mom laughs it off. This is turning into a full-blown detective case.
That's my diary that I've had since I was 13 years old. That's where I started my list, is in that. And all of a sudden my pages are missing. She had to bring it out here.
Okay, your statement to the court says that you've met the 2 out of the 13 that the court has administered tests to, Mr. Keith McCraney and a Mr. Derek Smith. You smile.
Mr. McCraney walks in and says he and Ms. Madrigal were together for 3 minutes. Yes, 3. The whole courtroom loses it laughing, but he's serious. Oh, and right after, she went to another guy's house.
You do know Ms. Myers' mom, Ms. Madrigal.
Yes, I did. You know, we got together. She came over. She told me she thought I was sexy, whatever, good looking.
My
Okay,
bad.
we had sex. It was a 3-minute thing. You know, 3 minutes.
He swore to tell the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Okay.
Ms. Myers met when she was 13 and was not impressed. She even told her mom, this man is ugly. To make things worse, his girlfriend's kid might also be his.
When is the first time you remember meeting Mr. McCraney?
I was 13 and I was going into 14. I stayed the night over with him and his girlfriend and her kid. Come to find out that one of her kids was his child, but that she was in question at the time and they had to be tested years later.
Everyone.
You've got to be kidding me. I said, Mom, this ugly is my dad.
Now, wait a minute.
Ms. Myers is done with this mess and starts breaking down. She's mad, frustrated, and tired of everyone coming at her. Judge Lake steps in to calm things down.
I was like, that's just ratchetness. That is just get some scandalous stuff.
Ratchet?
Yes, it's
I'm
ratchet.
ratchet because
It's ratchet.
I was made
You don't know
in
you're
the
made between these two. If there's 13 possibilities, if there's 13 possibilities.
These guys, everybody's attacking me like I'm the one that was laying down sleeping with people. I'm the one that was made.
Miss Myers,
okay?
Mr. Smith had a short fling with Ms. Madrigal and disappeared for years. Ms. Myers actually likes him and hopes he's her dad. The DNA test is coming, and she's praying for good news.
Around the age 19 to 20, we had a brief encounter of sex. And then one day I seen Samantha and she gave me a baby picture and told me that you're possibly the father of this child. And then I did not see her for quite a long time after that. One day I was coming out of a building. Samantha drove up with Monica in the backseat and said, there's your dad right there.
Well, the results are in.
It has been determined by this court that you are father.
There it is.
He brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm
And
getting
what
a
does
ride
it
from
matter if
Denver.
I drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a ride to see his own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have kids. I know what it's like being a single mom, and I would not be with Jesse if he would not take care of responsibilities.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday, and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Ms. Clark says Mr. Newby bailed when she got pregnant because his new girlfriend, Ms. Faulkner, filled his head with doubts. Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark was seeing someone else, and if he is the dad, wants custody because he thinks she's unfit. And just when it seems messy enough, emotions explode.
Ms. Clark, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Newby, dated for only 3 months before you became pregnant with his baby. You say the relationship was moving forward until he left you for a woman you claim is old enough to be his mother. It is your belief that she is the reason Mr. Newby is denying paternity.
Ms. Clark shares her tough past. Her dad's decided to eliminate himself, her mom's death, and addiction struggles during pregnancy. She admits to using drugs while pregnant, but says jail helped her clean up. The crowd applauds her turnaround, but the drama's far from over. Because, of course, it's paternity court, and it only gets messier.
Your Honor, when I met him, I was in drug use, but we were together for 3 months. When he left me, I felt abandonment because when I was younger, at 13 years old, my dad had hung himself because of drug use. And then 5 years later, my mother had died when I was 18 years old because of cancer. So when he left me when I was 7 months pregnant, I felt abandonment and pain and agony.
Mr. Newby's suspicions take center stage. He thinks Ms. Clark cheated, and others kept feeding his doubts. He was initially excited about the pregnancy, even showed off the sonogram, but the gossip got to him. Then things take a strange turn involving fake baby photos.
When she first went to jail, she would call me, and yeah, I would talk to her because I was thinking that the baby might possibly be mine. I've had my doubts from the very beginning. She's constantly lied. She's cheated on me with her ex, like, what, 3-4 times?
No, only
like
once.
That?
You know, you had doubts about being a father or whatever, then why'd you have this picture taken with me with the first ultrasound and being happy about being a father?
Things get weird when Ms. Clark admits sending Mr. Newby a random baby photo from the internet. Yep, a total internet baby to test if he cared. It only made Mr. Newby more suspicious. And that's not the end. Next up, it's all about hospital visits and boundary disputes.
Well, it was a picture of the internet. It sent him the picture, but I was just upset
she
because
questions why
he
he
had left
questioned
me
you.
to see if he would show any interest of seeing his son because he wasn't
You
doing
showed
that.
him a picture of a fake baby as if the baby had born.
Yeah,
Yes.
a newborn baby. I got a picture on my cell phone. While I was at work, I showed my manager and ran home.
Hospital drama kicks off as Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of showing up to appointments with Ms. Faulkner. She calls it disrespectful, while Ms. Faulkner claims she was just giving a ride. Clearly, no one's on the same page, and now they're arguing about who pays for what.
He brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm
And
getting
what
a
does
ride
it
from
matter
Denver
if I
now.
drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a
but that's
ride to see
disrespectful
his
to me.
own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have
to me.
kids. I know what it's like being a single mom,
disrespectful
and I
to
would
me,
not
so
be
why would
with
you
Jesse
even
if
do
he
that?
would not take care of responsibilities.
Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of barely helping with the baby. He says he tried, but Ms. Clark always refused anything from Ms. Faulkner. Judge Lake jumps in, urging Mr. Newby to take more responsibility. But you can tell this fight is far from over, especially as the fitness to raise the child gets questioned.
I would call him and ask him if he can watch him or whatever, if he wants to see him. He said, I can't right now.
That is
I
not true.
want to
And you
take care of the
didn't even-
baby.
you
I
didn't even let
tried
him see
taking
the
care of
kid
the baby.
until
You
after
would not.
years. And when we bought stuff for the
anything,
baby, she refused. She said, because Joanne got it, I
Yep,
don't
she didn't
want
want
it.
none.
Because I bought it. She did not want to receive the gifts, and she did not
But
want
it's
to
not your
want it.
responsibility. It's his
Our
as a
money is
father.
combined.
Yeah, the money.
I don't care.
Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark is unfit because she used drugs while pregnant. Judge Lake points out Ms. Clark's efforts to get clean, and even Mr. Newby admits she's improved. It's all leading up to the big moment. The DNA results are about to be revealed.
How are you gonna be 7 months pregnant and then stick a needle into both of your guys' bodies?
But I
like
went
that
to jail
baby had
and
to
I'm
go
clean
through that
now,
for no
so-
reason. She didn't even give him a chance.
Ms. Clark admitted that that was an absolute irresponsible action, which was inexcusable. I heard her say that. Mr. Newby, you are the father.
Ms. Holshoe storms into court claiming her mom had a fling with the defendant's dad, making her their sister. The Howard sisters are furious and call her a liar. Ms. Holshoe points out her name in the dad's obituary, and the drama levels up with more accusations.
Ms. Holshoe, you claim your mother had an affair with the defendant's father, and today you're in court to prove that he is your biological father. Ms. Howard, you and your sisters say Ms. Holshoe is a delusional troublemaker whose promiscuous mother destroyed your family and ruined your home.
Ms. Holshoe says she has terminal cancer and wants closure on her dad. She heard about her real dad when her drunk stepdad spilled the tea during a fight. Her mom confirmed it, and things got messy from there.
I've recently learned that I have terminal cancer, and I like to have family history, and I also, which I know they don't want to, but I would also like to, because my stepdad was drunk, he was fighting with my mother, and he said, well, who do you think your father is? And so after that, my mother told me. She took me and introduced me to DL. We had a relationship from then on.
The Howard sisters admit their dad once mentioned Ms. Holshoe might be their sister, but brush it off, claiming her mom slept around. The courtroom erupts into a messy argument, feeling like a Thanksgiving dinner gone bad.
One time when I was 19 years old, my dad, he was in from California. My parents were already divorced. We were in from California. He had us all meet him out at a country bar. We showed up, that and her mother was there. And after about a half hour, we had some drinks and stuff, and my dad
I don't even remember that, and she's lying, and I'm not a that. If anybody's of that, look
whatever
over
the
there.
case may be.
The sisters talk about their dads cheating, but refuse to believe Ms. Holshoe. They share details from their lives, like detectives solving a case they want to ignore, throwing in some mean comments about her mom.
I was in California living with my father. We had packed up our things and moved out because my father had gone to where, at the bar where her mother was working, and caught her cheating on him. Probably has no idea who any of her children belong to.
It's not my fault you guys don't want to know me. It's not my fault that your dad had sex with my mother, and I'm a product of that.
Ms. Holshoe says she was invited to a Howard family reunion by Mr. Howard, but the sisters lose it, calling her a liar. She claims they chased her out, which the sisters deny. It's turning into a real soap opera.
Your Honor, Mr. Howard invited me to a Howard family reunion.
Lies.
It was at
Lies.
Guilford Lake.
That is a total lie.
How does she know where the reunion is if she was invited or someone didn't tell her?
Your Honor,
Thank
I
you.
have been to every single family reunion.
And I have been
she
to-
has never been.
Is it held at that location?
I'm sure that she has this information because she's got it from my other sister.
Kelly Howard says she believes Ms. Holshoe because their dad literally introduced her as her sister. Everyone is left wondering if their dad ever thought this situation would end well.
Well, we were out one day, and I was about 19, and he said that he wanted me to meet one of his girlfriends. Met several of them before. So we go to Lynn's mother. He introduces me to her as my sister. We just went about our way after that, and I just took it as for what it was and just...
You never questioned it?
No. Our dad never lied to us.
Judge Lake reveals the DNA results.
That the probability of half-siblingship between Diana Howard and Misty Lynn Holshoe is 98.1%.
Two moms, Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson, team up against Mr. Barber, accusing him of being a deadbeat dad. They want over $7,000 in child support, and they're not holding back. This is just the start of the blames the moms for wanting too much money and causing drama. Miss Taylor claims he only cares about one kid because he's still sneaking around with that mom. It's like a soap opera, and the drama is just heating up.
The only reason you can't support the children you have with Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson is because they ask for too much money. They create too much drama.
Miss Taylor says she gave birth alone, while Mr. Barber flirted on his phone. He blames work, but she's not buying it. This is just leading to more tension.
I had my daughter by myself. My mother's deceased. My family could not get there. I come.
Judge Lake scolds everyone for all the shouting, saying it hurts the kids. She compares their constant fighting to nails on a chalkboard. The moms roll their eyes, and Mr. Barber tries to act calm. Let's see if anyone steps up. Miss Cooper, the third mom, actually defends Mr. Barber, calling the others bitter. She claims he's great with her kid. The room gets awkward, but the financial drama isn't over.
Do you feel like he treats your child differently?
No, I don't. I feel like he loves all his kids the same. I just feel like me and him have came to a common ground to co-parent. Our relationship and what we've been through, none of that matters.
Is he good to you?
Yes, he is. Very well.
Love.
She's a daddy's girl. She only wants to be with him.
Johnson, 3,880. She tells Mr. Barber being a dad is more than just photo ops. It's like a game show where nobody wins.
You know, it is this...
A reality check. Time to grow up and stop letting his kids down. The moms hope he takes it seriously. It ends on a hopeful note, but this drama feels far from over.
When you got these women pregnant, you didn't know who you were. But now...
Wow, this episode kicks off with fireworks. Miss Jackson is in court to face her husband's mistress and prove the mistress's baby isn't her husband's. Oh, and she's ready to end her marriage if she's wrong. Yep, it's going to be one of those cases. Let's go. Discovery of the affair.
Miss Jackson, you say you're here to confront your husband's mistress and to prove her 1-month-old daughter, Kiesha, is not his biological daughter.
Your Honor.
Furthermore, you say you learned today that the child is in fact your husband's. Your marriage is over.
That's right, Your Honor.
Things get real when Miss Jackson tells the story of how she found out her husband was sneaking around. Oh, but Miss Jackson wasn't having it. This was just the warm-up round of the drama.
I got an epiphany. Call it woman's intuition, whatever you want. Well, I went to my husband's job. It was about 9:30 or 10:30 at night. He approached the car. We talked for a few minutes. To end our conversation, I told him, feel as though there's something going on that you hadn't told me, because he had been distant in the days prior to. I had put him out.
The mistress, Miss Lipscomb, tries to explain herself. And her story, it's wild. She says Mr. Jackson told her he wasn't married, even though he was rocking a wedding ring. But instead of smelling the lies, she bought his excuse. It's about to get even messier, so stick around.
When she came to their job, why did she come up there or why didn't she come up there? I've never seen her a day in my life. I knew her voice. I was sitting up, Mr. Jackson, and she calls and the kids calls. That's how I know her voice so high pitched. You can hear her through the phone. My BM, which is my baby mother. BM does not spell wife. Wife is spelled W-I-F.
Oh, she
not
can spell,
BM.
Your Honor. Wow.
Imagine catching your husband's mistress chilling in a hotel room you're paying for. Yeah, that happened. Miss Jackson recalls finding Miss Lipscomb at the hotel and letting her know exactly who the boss is. Spoiler alert, this showdown gets even crazier when Mr. Jackson shows up later.
Maybe a week after that, I was talking to, because my husband went to jail that night, Your Honor.
You sent them to jail
I was
over
angry
bogus
enough. It was an
room.
impulsive decision, and I understand it was not the right decision, Your Honor, because I knew that he had some legal issues going on in another state. The next morning, I go to the room, find Miss Lipscomb laying in the bed crying.
I
like she
told
just
you I
lost
was
her
going back
puppy.
to the room,
But
Carl
died.
talking to me.
Oh, here comes Mr. Jackson, looking like he just walked into a tornado. He admits he never told Miss Lipscomb he was married, saying, "She didn't ask." Really? That's the excuse? The judge isn't buying it, and honestly, neither are we. What happens next is gold. Miss Jackson's generosity.
Ms. Lipscomb says she had no idea you had a wife.
No, she didn't, because I never mentioned it to her, Your Honor.
So that part of her statement is true. You never told her you were married.
No, Your Honor.
When Miss Lipscomb first started talking, I didn't believe for 1 minute that she didn't really know you were married, and confirmed the lie.
I didn't tell her no lie, I just didn't never mention it to her. She never asked.
You think Miss Jackson would be done, right? Nope. She actually bought baby stuff for the mistress's kid because she felt bad. She thought the drama was over, but surprise, Miss Lipscomb admits the affair never really stopped. This mess is nowhere near cleaned up.
Not only have we had conversations, before I didn't deny the child, I went and bought over $900 and some worth of stuff for her baby. Like I told her, from the conversation, Your Honor, she seemed really distraught. She said that, "I don't know how it feels not to know who your child's father is, Your Honor. Whether it's my husband's child or not, out of the kindness of my heart, Your Honor, I understand that we all have shortcomings."
Just when you think it's bad enough, Miss Jackson drops another bomb. Miss Lipscomb might have had another boyfriend during all this. She even brings receipts, aka Facebook posts, to prove it. Let's just say, things are starting to feel more like a soap opera in real life. Hang tight.
I found out when I was in jail, because I guess the beginning of the year, her birthday time, she got sick and went to the hospital. And my wife told me that she said she was pregnant then.
On her Facebook page, Your Honor, she had listed that she was going to the hospital. At that time, Your Honor, she was with another man, and I have evidence.
This piece of evidence shows that she was also dealing with another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, but Mr. Jackson didn't just sign the birth certificate. He was at the hospital. He put this baby on his wife's military benefits too. Like, that's not a big deal. The audacity off the charts. And you already know, Miss Jackson is not about to let that slide.
He didn't cut the cord, but he was there.
So he did come for the birth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
You did?
So if it's not his child, why would he sign the birth certificate? Even more to speak on her
Mr.
behalf.
Jackson, you've acknowledged paternity.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's why the baby was placed on my benefit.
The baby is what?
Anything for my
Placed on
child.
my benefit, Your Honor. I also have proof of that.
At this point, the whole courtroom is on edge as these two women go back and forth like it's the finals in a shouting competition. Miss Lipscomb says Miss Jackson is just using the baby as a reason to divorce Mr. Jackson. The judge steps in to say, enough already, but trust me, the next part is gonna leave you shook.
Oh, I just believe she wants to know if this is his child so she can divorce him. Don't use my child as a crutch. If you want to divorce him, divorce him. Don't use my child as a crutch. This woman is delusional. The whole time I was pregnant,
I'm delusional
she swore
when I'm
that
married
she
and
was
you're messing
pregnant.
with my husband.
She's been pregnant 4 times since I have had my daughter. Right here,
not
that
telling
she
you
sent
that
me
I'm
in
pregnant
May.
now. That's
You
the
sent
part
me,
that
I
you
was
hadn't
saying,
admitted
I
to
told
me.
you every time.
The moment everyone's been waiting for. The DNA test comes back, and boom.
When it comes to 1-month-old Keasia Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
This kicks off like a reality show where nobody's winning. Mr. Burridge says he's been played and wants his name off the birth certificate, plus his money back for childcare. Mrs. Stephanies is fed up, saying Burridge was a great dad until now. Things are already wild, but they're about to get wilder.
Mr. Barrage, you've dragged Ms. Stephens to court because you say you're being played for a fool. And when today's DNA results prove that you are not her daughter, father, you demand that your name be removed from her birth certificate and you be reimbursed for the past 8 months of child care expenses.
Both had side flings. Welcome to the world's messiest love triangle. Burridge admits he had a girlfriend while seeing Miss Team Stephanies, who also had another guy. Miss Stephanie says Burridge knew what he was getting into, but things turned awkward real fast. If you thought this was messy, just wait, there's more.
I also had another woman on the side, and you had another guy on the side.
And I never knew it was a girlfriend. We were together every day since the first day we started hanging out.
No.
But when I sent you the pregnancy test and told you I was pregnant, you said what? I'm gonna be in her life. That's my child. You was there, you signed the birth certificate, cut the umbilical cord. I didn't force you to do anything. You chose to do that willingly because you felt obviously that she was your child.
That's like a soap opera crossed with a bad rom-com. Burridge claims he was trapped into this baby, saying she wanted him away from his girlfriend. Ms. Stephanie says he chose to be there because he liked how she treated her kids. The judge looks like she needs a lie detector test for this one. But hey, it's just getting started.
That's my child. I'm gonna be in his or her life. He's saying that I was just something to do, but that was never my impression. Me and Fernando, we was together all the time. It wasn't no one night stand. We was together consistently every day. I didn't think we were in a relationship, but I thought it was more because I knew that my intentions was to get more than what it was.
And you also said this to me, talking like you gonna try to take me away from my girl. You know what I'm saying? Trying to set me up, trying to trap me.
This is nosy neighbor heaven. Gossip galore. Burridge says neighbors told him Stephanie's was seeing half the block, making him question if the baby was his. He even points out the baby's complexion is too different. Ms. Stephanie's rolls her eyes like she's had enough of this nonsense. The judge starts piecing things together, but it only gets weirder.
I didn't know how many guys she slept with. Guys coming out the blue in the neighborhood where I stay, just come out the blue. I hit that, I hit that.
And he's going off what other people saying. Ask him, does he know anything that's for sure? Not what people are saying.
Do you know for sure? Do you have any proof of this?
I have proof, Your Honor. For one, Your Honor, I don't have light blue, green, hazel eyes, Your Honor. That's for one.
The other guy has light eyes.
Yes, Your Honor.
This part is either touching or hilarious. Barrage shares he didn't have a dad growing up and didn't want the same for Phelan, but now feels foolish. Ms. Stephanie says she thought Barrage was her ride or die, and now feels humiliated. Just when things seem settled, bam, a twist.
I really don't know who my father is, because my name ain't on the birth certificate other than what my mother tell me, but ain't no name on the birth certificate. On my generation, my close in that family all the way to like 1874. And like far as our genetic code, everybody, we got big eyes, big nose, big lip. That baby got light eyes, little nose.
From you, Mr. Barrage, she's my child also. She can have my genes.
Things just got crazier. Ms. Stephanie's reveals she's 5 months pregnant with Burridge's baby. Burridge says she trapped him again, while she insists otherwise. The judge looks like she could use a coffee break, and honestly, same. But the drama isn't over yet.
My biological mom wasn't in my life, nor my father. I didn't meet him till I was 12. And ain't no telling if that's my biological father. Why would I put my children? Phelan is my 5th child. I'm pregnant again by Mr. Barrage. And what, to go through the same thing? I'm 5 months pregnant as we speak now.
She trapped me, Your Honor. She trapped me with this one.
Things get awkward fast. Stephanie's admits she was with another guy, but says it ended before Phelan was conceived. Burridge isn't buying it, thinking he might not be the only possible dad. The audience practically yells at their TVs, trying to solve this like a crime drama. The tension here could power a whole city.
Have you ever had a sexual relationship with this other guy? So you have. What he's saying is you've had a sexual relationship with this guy. For some reason, you're still around him all the time.
Because
unprotected sex, Your Honor.
Was it unprotected or protected sex?
Unprotected. When I met Mr. Barrage, that relationship, no, not at the same time.
It might be another man, baby. You know they got a name for themselves.
This had everyone rolling their eyes. Burridge says Stephanie's put voodoo on him, earning a look from the judge like, really? The judge points out Burridge signed the birth certificate and played dad. Stephanie says she wanted more than just a fling, and now she feels tossed aside. Finally, the moment of truth is near.
Both of you have stood in court today and testified that you feel like fools.
Yes, Your Honor. A special type of food, though, Your Honor.
What kind?
She put some type of voodoo on me or something, Your Honor.
Acting like you don't care nothing about this girl. You are wasting my time. I'm trying to get to this paternity issue, and you trying to act like you don't care nothing about this girl. Hit it and quit it girl that you don't care nothing about.
The DNA results are the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barrage, you are her father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Lake kicks off Butterfield versus Bracknell Dallas, a messy paternity case about baby Kara. Butterfield claims he's the father, while Bracknell insists it's her fiancé Dallas. You can already feel the chaos brewing.
Mr. Butterfield, you've summoned your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Bracknell, to paternity court to prove that you are the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Kara. You say she's denying you are Kara's dad because she's worried her family will be torn apart when the results prove you are the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Butterfield says he and Bracknell planned for a baby, and during their breakup, she mentioned a gift. He wonders if that meant Kara feeling left out of her birth. The drama's just getting started.
Me and Mrs. Bracknell had a residence together for almost a year. We did try to have a baby together before. She had told me when we were breaking up, she said, "Thank you for the gift." And I said, "What gift was that?"
And then when you found that out, you thought to yourself, was that the gift?
The baby?
Yeah, you thought
My daughter, yes.
Bracknell says she found out about the pregnancy months after leaving Butterfield. She thinks the baby looks like her other kids with Dallas, but Dallas is ready to present some evidence next.
When did you find out you were pregnant?
Honestly, I didn't find out until, I'd say 3 months after I did move out of his house. I was having irregular periods, so I just let it go for a minute. I'm not really a doctor person.
So what you're saying is when this relationship ended, you didn't know you were pregnant?
No.
But once you found out you were pregnant,
How could you not? You're not having periods.
Dallas brings out a calendar, claiming Bracknell moved in with him when Kara was conceived. Butterfield claps back, insisting he was still seeing seeing her. The mystery deepens.
So this calendar outlines
August
the
20
date when the relationship with Mr. Butterfield and Ms. Bracknell. Cara was conceived in mid-September, and she was born in June. And she ended the relationship with Mr. Butterfield at the end of August. There's no way Mr. Butterfield is Cara's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Dallas declares Cara his daughter, no matter the DNA results. Butterfield insists he'll step in if she's his. The room is tense, with emotions ready to burst.
Have you ever considered how you would react if, in fact, Cara is not your biological child?
You know what, Your Honor? I'm gonna love her the same. She's gonna be my little daughter. I'm gonna raise her my life. Nothing's gonna change. I love her to death, just like I do now. He's actually made our family stronger.
That's good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life.
No, you just have a...
Butterfield found out about Cara via a Facebook post, someone else holding her. He accuses Bracknell of hiding it, but she denies it. The back and forth doesn't seem to end.
The only time that I actually ever found out that you guys were even pregnant, that's a Facebook post that they posted on that the baby was even. That's before I even knew.
It says, this little girl is ready.
Yep, that little girl's ready right there. And then I also, the only thing I got was a text message from of a friend saying of her sister holding my daughter.
Butterfield accuses Bracknell of cheating and even leaving him on his birthday. She denies everything. The tension rises as they prepare for the next round of accusations.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
I've when I found out about it, I messaged her mom, let him know I was coming. I blocked, obviously, on their
That you were
Facebook.
coming? Let's explain that text message.
You guys even got together.
Butterfield insists Cara is his, pointing out physical similarities. Bracknell counters, saying Cara resembles Dallas and her other kids. Everyone's waiting for the DNA test to decide.
She looks more like me. Even her own family says it. They look like me. She's got my nose, she's got my lips, she's got my brown hair. All her boys are blonde.
Yep, and they've gone brown the older they get.
Exactly.
So you are convinced, Mr. Butterfield, this is your daughter?
Oh, I'm 100% convinced.
Judge Lake asks if Dallas would stay if Cara isn't his, and he says yes without hesitation. His devotion is clear, but the DNA results will soon shake everyone.
So therefore, if in fact Cara is not your biological child, will you be able to continue this relationship?
Oh, yeah.
You will?
Yep.
Okay. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?